Or what now?
And salutations, everyone. I am your Uncle
Thankfully,
NecRo.
it's Sunday.
Okay, it's Monday, Del.
Shit.
Yes, of course.
Uh-huh.
You want
Thank
to try
you.
this again? Oh wait, we're
okay.
live, aren't we? No.
Yes.
Damn
I
it.
went to work today for nothing.
Okay, and
Happy Monday, everybody.
And 3, 2, 1. Greetings and salutations, my wonderful freaks.
Shit.
Oh, we'll just leave that in there.
Okay.
Okay.
3, 2, 1. Ta-da!
Greetings and salutations, my wonderful freaks. I am your Uncle NecRo, and these weirdos with me are Del and my girl Friday and Chaos for some odd reason. Braz could not be with us tonight, so we buried him somewhere. And tonight we are discussing the 2010 movie The Tripper. As a rural Northern California town prepares for Frank Baker's American Free Love Festival, a serial killer roams the woods, inflicting preemptive strikes on the hippies who have all come for the sex, drugs, and the rock and the rolls. Sporting Ronald Reagan mask and leaving trademark jelly beans at his gruesome crime scenes, the killer seems unstoppable. That is, unless he meets an unimpeachable flower child. What did you guys think of this movie?
Well, I own it because of some. Did you see? We had a viewer and they heard it and then they were like, "Screw that, we're gone. We're just outies now."
Okay.
But yeah, no, I own it because one of my exes really loved it, and this was not the good one or one of the good ones. So
The movie
they're
or
back.
the boyfriend?
Both, actually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was a movie, and I think that the Arquette family tried just a little bit too hard to push an agenda that unfortunately, or maybe fortunately, didn't really catch on. Like, I don't think anybody who wasn't from exactly the right era would understand what in the hell the movie was about.
Okay.
At all.
So when it comes to David Arquette, he seems to be the odd man out, and that is saying something because there are some odd birds in that family to begin with. Now, we're talking just going through his movie list here. Let's all remember he was the guy behind the wrestling classic. Okay, and then my brain just quit. Well, there was also Eight-Legged Freaks in 2002, if you've ever
That
heard
wasn't
that
bad.
one. Yes, that one is very bad. But let's see. Let's Get Ready to Rumble. That's the one I was kind of groping for.
Okay.
And I
Watch news.
actually saw that in the movie theater. I don't recommend doing that, but I guess you can't really do that anyway. So this is a movie that was written and directed by David Arquette, and this thing does have some star power going for it. It has Thomas Jane as the sheriff, Jason Mewes as one of the hippies that are going to the festival, Omaha's own Jamie King as, I guess, the last
Final girl.
Yeah, the final girl. And Paul
Balthazar
Reubens.
Getty.
Yeah, Paul Reubens is the festival, the guy behind the festival, and believe it or not, Courtney Cox Arquette, or Courtney Cox as we know her now, was in there. You couldn't recognize her.
Yeah.
You know, at the beginning when they go inside that convenience store and that lady behind the counter was going, "Oh, I just love that George Bushy is so."
Yeah. That was
That was her.
her?
That was her in
How much
prosthetics.
makeup did she have on?
A lot.
Jeez. Why didn't they just, I don't know, get somebody that fit that body size
I don't know.
instead? I mean, that
I would love to understand the reasoning behind this.
I was what's her name who played Annie Potts in Stephen Kingdom? Or maybe not Potts. It, I'm
Annie
your greatest fan. Chop off the legs. What's her name?
Ann Wilkins.
Okay, what's the actress's name though?
Um, yeah, her.
And she's an American Horror Story and all that. I can't remember
Yeah.
her name,
Oh my
but
gosh.
like
This
that's who I thought it was at first, like a younger version of her. And so it was like, oh wow, she changed a bit over the years,
okay.
but
There's somebody yelling at the podcast right now going, "This is this person."
yeah,
And
you guys
here we
know.
are.
Let us know if I type it gets too loud. So that's and I have a cat on my lap.
Yeah, sis.
Gets annoying.
We're
So
in
if
misery.
yeah, Misery, that's the name of the movie. So in case you're wondering how we know that this movie is about hippies and an attack on Reagan, this is how the movie starts, everyone. A hippie is someone who looks like Tarzan, walks like Jane, and smells like cheetah.
hmm
Uh,
Oh,
yeah.
and just to cut in here, the name of the actress is Kathy Bates.
Thank you. All right.
You are welcome.
Yes, they should have just hired Kathy Bates instead of making Courtney Cox look like Kathy Bates.
But I don't think they would have been able to afford Kathy Bates. All the other monies went to like Paul Reubens, Thomas Jane.
Lukas Haas.
Yeah, this was post something. Wow, what a night we've had.
I
Did the
did
movie
enjoy
do
it.
this?
Like the I watched it about I got done with it again about an hour ago. I was like, oh wow, I'm brain dead now.
Okay,
I,
yeah.
I do like the combination of their last names for their production company, the Cox and Arquette, into Coquette product. That was clever.
Nifty. Anything to avoid talking about this movie. But okay, so essentially the plot of this movie, it boils down to we start off with kind of a flashback to 1967, and a bunch of actual hippies are trying to save the redwood forests in California by strapping themselves to the tree. And the guy who owns the company that was hired to take down the trees because business, and all because Governor Reagan decided to deregulate the whole protection of the state trees there. And he's upset because they're taking money away from his family, and his wife is very, very sick. He takes his young son along with him for the confrontation, which leads to the young boy taking down one of the hippies with the chainsaw. He's carted off by policemen, and now we go to modern day, and there's a festival going on in the same redwood place, and we get a bunch of I wouldn't call them hippies, but a bunch of kids who are latching on to an historical ideology as an excuse to do drugs and frolic naked in the forest, or at least
I like
somewhat.
I like to call them granola nuggets.
Granola nuggets. Okay.
Yes,
I
that's
would
what I
like
call them.
quickly patent that, trademark it. Granola
I've been
nuggets.
doing that since I had to work a Tori Amos concert. So
We can team up with Nature Valley for some promotional food items. But the thing that gets me is that obviously they didn't have the budget to really show much of a festival going on.
mhm.
You see a lot of them driving and then camping in the woods and then coming across various traps, and you can tell there's somebody stalking in the woods You get flashbacks with one of the characters of her very, very abusive ex-boyfriend,
Mm-hmm.
and the confrontation between her and him when she took ecstasy for the first time, I believe, and the freak out that ensues, which, you know, suddenly I'm seeing that she wants to stay off the drugs, but I question her choice in friends then, because
Yeah.
everybody else is tweaking.
No. They are not tweaking. Totally different thing.
No, they are.
They are tripping balls, but
They are gone.
they are not tweaking. There is a difference. Tweaking is when you're high on amphetamines
Okay.
and like super jittery and cleaning bugs on me. What?
Mhm.
And tripping is like, oh shit, what's going on? Oh wow, dude. Holy shit! Did you know the sky? The sky, man. It's like there.
I will defer to your knowledge on this, but as a lifelong clean liver, I'm just, I use that as a catch-all.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
It's
it's like my grandma, who anybody who looks different, she labels a hippie. It didn't matter if you had like a spiked mohawk and a motorcycle jacket. No, you're a hippie. So
gotcha. Yeah, it'd be like somebody who smokes weed is a stoner. Well, not everybody who smokes weed, but people who often smoke weed would be a stoner. Like, you wouldn't call them a junkie. That's more of a heroin thing. So, like,
all right. Again, we're
different
avoiding
labels,
talking
but
about the movie.
yeah, yes, we are.
This is inevitable. There, Dell. We are going to be talking about this. We're
I
revisiting
will have,
pain.
yeah. I had to avoid a lot of the trippy parts of the movie though because the lights were
Yeah,
really bad for me. If you are epileptic, it just when the festival starts until just go like this and wait until it stops doing things, then you can watch when it starts. There's a couple of really long segments of like lights swirling and people tripping and it's all flashing and really bad for epileptics.
yeah,
So just a warning.
yeah. There is some strobing going on, but yeah, there's a couple of red herrings that you see hither and yon about who the killer really is. You get, the requisite confrontation between the hippies and the local rednecks who were messing with the hippies. So, and you got another, yeah, obviously the father that was featured in the beginning of the movie in the flashback. He is still alive, and it's been some doubt has been cast as to whether or not his traps are the ones that are doing the problem. But then we get an eyeful of a couple of nudists walking around in the forest, and one of them is searching for mushrooms, and he's chasing a bunny, and he gets caught in the trap, but later on he's found. So we get naked hippie Wang in the air, hoisted up, and his intestines are out of his body. Let's just say he's been disemboweled.
I think that was one of my favorite lines too, because right as you think he's out like picking magic mushrooms or something, and he's like, "Ooh, chanterelles!" Ah! It's like,
Right.
"Oh, you're gonna cook with them? Okay, cool. Oh, you're dead.
Yeah.
Oh well,
Now,
you're kind
as
of
far
funky."
yeah, so we do get a bit of the festival thing going. We see one band play. Did anybody catch the name of the band, if that's an actual band that they brought on? Because they seemed nifty. I'm not really a ska person, but this seemed to be more of a ska punk type hybrid where they were quite political, kind of like Fishbone, you know, that kind of thing. Anybody?
Dell was
Anybody?
looking it up.
Okay. Bueller.
Basically, the best thing about the whole entire movie was the trees. They were
Yes.
beautiful. The forest was beautiful. It
They
was
were
my favorite part of the whole entire movie was the forest.
You see, we didn't have the budget to film in the actual forest, so we had people dressed up as trees, and they were doing fine jobs as portraying inanimate trees. I kept going, what is my line? What is my motivation? I said, you're stand there. You're a tree.
Except when Dave fucking fell over. Oh,
Yes, indeed. But so yeah, we have a serial killer who's running around not in a Ronald Reagan mask per se, but in prosthetic makeup to make him look close, proximity wise, to looking like Ronald Reagan, not actually like Ronald Reagan.
It was a full mask.
It was a
Like,
full mask.
it was a full latex with the full head mask. Because
Okay.
there's one extra one later on, and the one that he's wearing, they eventually pull it off.
Okay.
So, but it was a very intricately done, like, it wasn't like the Michael Myers, William Shatner spray painted white mask. This was like a stick it to the face, glue it, do the whole
Yeah.
setup thing.
Few hours in the makeup chair kind of setup. But at least they did that instead of just slapping on a cheap mask just to get the effect. I'll give him that. And
Yeah.
he's running around, making quips sounding like Ronald Reagan. And it was a great concept, but somehow I don't think they pulled it off very well in this movie. Simply because you can tell that this was very much a commentary on the policies of Reaganomics in the 80s, a time which everybody remembers and talks about. And I'm being sarcastic here.
The thing that I remember most is, as my little tagline says, Ronald Reagan in the 80-81 for the school lunch program declared that certain things, including like pickle relish and other condiments, would be considered eligible to be vegetables on the menu. And some people took it and ran with it and made ketchup be a vegetable.
Mm-hmm.
So they thought it was fine to, like, oh, we're serving, pigs in a blanket, and we'll serve some ketchup with them. So, ta-da, we've got our vegetable covered.
French fries are
And
vegetables.
yes. But, I think it would be a fruit.
So
It is
Yeah,
a
to
fruit.
get technical.
ketchup. So if you stick it on the French fried taters, would that be considered a salad?
A potato salad?
Perhaps.
According to my grandmother, yes.
But with me, 1981 was also the time when he cut the funding for mental health programs.
Yes.
And that is what is reflected in the guy who's running around killing everybody, is that he went to, he was a big fan of Reagan because Reagan was the one who was giving his dad the job. Even it was the hippies that screwed it all up by trying to prevent his dad from cutting down the trees, which made his mother die because she couldn't get her pills. And it was shown very obviously how sick she is because he gets to watch his dad breaking up the pills and being like, have one more, honey. She's laying on her deathbed. Like, this way we have some for tomorrow, And so and then it's like 1981, Reagan health cut budget, mental health, screaming all over the place. And he was one of the kids that was, or one of the thousands of people that was released because they could no longer fund it. And so that was his fault too. So, yeah. So it's a shrine to Reagan.
Right. It's a shrine to Reagan. And yeah, otherwise, this is your standard slasher, axe murderer kind of thing with a gimmick.
Mhm.
And it, kind of, it's pretty much every trope and every beat that a slasher movie does. You can almost telegraphic. What the heck? What is going on, people? Tonight is just
Brains.
Raz, it's a good thing you're not here, so it'll reflect poorly on you. Or maybe he's the guy that brings everything together. I don't know. But we wish you well. Wish you were here.
Send that
So,
out.
yeah. However, I do want to point out that I have seen way worse slasher movies done
Hmm?
with far, far less. I am, however, torn because normally we try to steer away from political issues. This one
Yeah.
forces our hand. On the one hand, I can get behind the random killing of the, as Dell put it, the granola nuggets. On the other hand, the blatant stereotyping, over the top stereotyping of what how backwoods conservatives are and how backwoods liberals are, it just gives me a headache.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
They were. Yeah. And did we bring up the license plate?
yes, the red
Okay.
states. Oh,
Yeah.
did we bring it up? No.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Balthazar Getty. He's driving this like black SUV with red states, but or
Right.
Aried, Aried, REDST8.
Yeah.
So
RESPECT.
find out what it means to me.
Right. And he's dressed up. He's dressed up very much like in American Psycho as
Yeah.
Bates. But
Hello, Jessica.
hello.
Never heard of Bark of Terror. That we will have to check. Well, I will have to check out. I don't know if they have.
I have not heard of it. I shall check it out as well, see if it's worthy to be put on the list. But we have quite the list going already.
Yes, we do have a list of approximately 150 or so.
To start with.
And then we have our own too. That's just his.
Yes.
Okay.
Hi.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, but hop on and join our Discord, and then you can suggest movies to us. Well, you
Oh,
can
yes.
suggest them to us anywhere, but we'll actually remember where they're at if we see them on Discord. Really stay in place.
Add them to the list. I will add it.
So, just to basically pad this out a little bit, and again, Jamie King, Omaha's own, in this movie. But yeah, the whole idea for the film was David Arquette was at a reggae concert in North Carolina that was inside a redwood forest, and he was creeped out by that. And then, he thought, what if a madman came out of the woods and started hacking up everybody? And reggae concert, it's kind of predisposed for like college age granola nuggets. And then, he stopped at this gas station, saw a Halloween Ronald Reagan mask, and it kind of flashed his mind as when they used that William Shatner mask for Halloween for Michael Myers, and it just kind of took off. He wanted to make a commentary on the Reagan era policies, obviously. So why not do a political satire? And political satires is not something anybody can just do. It needs a certain level of talent, I would say,
Yeah.
as does everything else. And like I said, it does have potential. I really, really like Thomas Jane's portrayal in this movie. It's really good. And believe it or not, I think Jason Mewes actually added a bit of whimsical color to it, even though, Dell, I know you were.
I don't just like him. I just wouldn't be able to hang out around him for very long because that level of just like sheer goofiness would wear on me
Right.
very easily.
He's very extroverted, I think.
He's very extra.
Extra. He's very extra.
Yeah. I just it's too many years spent hanging out with a lot of people who were doing a lot of drugs and things and who acted like that, and it's just like, yeah, you almost kind of have to get stoned just to put up with them, or you could save a lot of money and just quit hanging out with them. Holy shit! I have money again.
Okay. So,
What did you guys think? We haven't
yeah.
heard much from you guys. We've been
Okay,
just
you start.
jabbering.
One, my main favorite part was a couple of the deaths, Yes. Especially closer to the end. This one, they're killing the dogs that are attacking everybody, and this lady pops out, and "Oh, don't kill them! They're God's creatures! Don't!" And then one jumps up and starts ripping her throat out.
That was fun.
And you could just see in the cop's face, like, "God damn it!"
I fought to stay awake. I watched the thing and I fought to stay awake.
Hey, you know what my secret is? Since I've seen this before, what I did was I watched it on 1.5 speed.
Well, I had never actually seen it before, so I watched it at normal speed, and then I'm like, oh wow, I know those people and I know that person. Okay, interesting cast.
Mm-hmm.
And then I get further on into it. I'm like, what am I watching? I think I figured out why it's on our show. And the trees, Thomas Jane's interesting character, and randomly there's Paul Reubens, and I'm like, I think I was happy he didn't sing.
I missed Robert Englund. Where was he?
I did.
What?
I don't.
Robert Englund was listed as a cast member, I thought.
No.
I didn't see him.
Let's see. No, Wes Craven is a hippie in a cameo.
Oh, okay. Maybe I got the two confused.
Well, Wes Craven did come up with Freddy Krueger.
Yeah.
And apparently,
and I have no brain.
Of the show was "F you." Well, the phrase, because as many times as I've heard it, and of course he's Pee-wee Herman, I heard everybody going, "Ah!" That's how my brain went with that.
Today's secret word is "fu."
Yes.
Let's see.
I watched them on Cheech and Chong as well, so it didn't surprise me. Anything I see him in now.
Let's see. Image Comics, in conjunction with Raw Studios, published the Tripper comic adaptation, David Arquette's The Tripper, during May 2007 in its first edition. David Arquette is credited with the story alongside Joe Harris, who adapted the concept of the comic medium with artist Nat Jones. Image Comics was just throwing comic books to the wall to see what sticks at this point.
Yeah.
That's kind of sad. Oh, more pictures. Speaking of, we did have,
Yeah.
They did have a pretty good shot for, I got two pictures here for you guys to see in the final girl. They did a rockin' background.
That is a nice shot.
This final girl there. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, this movie does have some pretty good cinematography going, as far as that goes.
Yeah.
So it's not just some cheaply thrown together shot on video type of slasher movie. This has some money on the budget here, but as I mentioned before, it's a bit clunky. So keep that in mind.
Yes.
Yeah. A lot of the Reaganomics stuff that they were trying to do was like that, the picture at the beginning.
And the entire ending is a speech.
Yes.
Yeah. The song.
While the credits are going, it's just...
Yeah.
Yeah, they skip all the stuff and they're like, oh, and then there's the 1981 mental health thing. And so they kind of freeze and do all this crazy screen work around it. And then they stop doing that. And then that's like, okay, now you're up to date.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So, all in all, would you recommend people watch this movie?
No.
Okay.
Really, I mean, it's not something that I would be like, it's so schlocky, it's good. or anything. To me, it's getting like a 2 out of 5, and that's only because there were a couple of moments that slightly amused me.
Okay.
But it was just bad. What about
Okay.
you guys?
Friday Chaos.
Probably same 2 out of 5 for cast and a couple amusing moments.
Well, I would actually give it a 3 out of 5. Believe it or not, simply because it's way better than a lot of the slashers that I've actually watched as far as being shot, and I can really get behind just random killing.
Mhm.
I might slip it back to more 2.5 kind of stars, but I'm not a big fan of doing the fraction bit.
Yeah.
It's less of a pain in the ass.
And Friday.
It gets a sunflower. Because
a
they tried.
sunflower.
A sunflower.
Yep, a sunflower.
It probably would have been a better movie if they weren't just straight up force feeding you politics throughout the whole.
Yeah. Now, what would you recommend instead? I would recommend Tucker and Dale versus Evil.
Uh-huh.
Because that's a fantastic just deconstruction of the whole genre of slashers, especially at the time when this came out. When that movie came out, there was a lot of the resurgence of backwoods type slasher killers like Hackett or Hatchet, the Hatchet series, and the Hills Have Eyes remakes. But it's a very subversive horror comedy.
I didn't know they
Watch
were
it.
remakes.
Yeah.
Of the Hills Have Eyes, yeah.
I didn't know that. I shall have to go find them and watch the originals.
Well, okay, I'm glad you said originals.
Well, I saw the new ones and I'm like, I didn't know they were remakes, to be honest. It never came up in any conversation.
Okay.
That's why I need Uncle Necro in my life. I get to learn new things.
Well,
And a gift. Thank you, Del, for this gift.
the gift of Uncle Necro.
You didn't know you were a gift, did you?
We can all blame Del. So,
Well, I blame Raz for Del because Raz gave me Del as well, and that's a gift as well.
Indeed. But Del, do you have any recommendations over this one?
Just about anything. It's I'm trying to think of a political slasher that besides this one, and I can't really come up with a lot. Yeah, I mean, this is gonna sound weird, and it's an option on the wheel right now, but Death Machine was it's a horrible it's good enough to watch, I think, but it's a bad movie, but it's humorously done at least, and it kind of it's not so much a political thing as it is like corporations and how much power they have, and deals with the government and backdoor kind of stuff, on what should be moral and what should be legal.
Mm-hmm.
But that's about the best I can come up with for a similar vein of thing. But as far as like the backwoods stuff, I would go with Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. I think if you want just a good backwoods slasher.
With some humor.
Yes. And with my second boyfriend, Bill Moseley. I could have 2 now.
Oh, yeah.
They don't know about each other. They don't know about themselves even, so it's okay.
All right.
Yay!
I have a Zat, so I'm not too worried about it.
Okay. Do you guys have any recommendations?
For slasher wise?
As far as replacements for the Tripper?
Slashers Gone Wild? I don't know.
Okay.
Pretty much any old slasher in black and white would be good,
In black and white? Okay. I think the slasher genre came about well within the color realm about 1970s. I mean, if we want to just stick with the original, the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre would do it well, and with less blood too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it still wound up having people, for some reason, had people going to shrinks,
Yeah.
even though it had less blood.
I have a question that I'm pretty sure you could probably answer. Why is it chainsaw in the first movie and chainsaw in the second? It's Texas Chainsaw, and then it's Texas Chainsaw
Well,
too.
clearly Toby Hooper, the forward thinker that he was, really ahead of his time, knew that this would mess with you. So he made sure that the snake. Okay, well,
I guess it's a little late now, but good job. I'm gonna have to go get a Ouija board now, just so I can tell you.
Please don't.
All right.
I know.
Do we want to break up the wheel?
Yes, it is time to spin. Are we ready?
The terrible.
Hold on 1 second. I'm trying to get to the song.
It's
Okay.
I got it ready. Okay.
Let me
Ready?
know when.
1, 2, 3, go! Yay!
Winter Beast.
Okay.
All right. Now, was that one of the ones that I suggested, or somebody else?
Raz, I know.
Raz?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to have to check my own archives. I may have that on the hard drive, but
Does anyone know anything about it?
no, not
I
at all.
I can cut what Raz said about it yesterday
Okay.
and put that up along with the spin of this as well.
Okay.
Because we have his explanation yesterday that all I remember is something about them randomly stopping and doing claymation and then stopping production entirely and then coming back to it years later to finish it and weird budget issues and stuff like that.
Yeah, I just didn't know what it was even about. There was like
let's
that. And I was
see.
like,
1992 American horror film directed by Christopher Thies. Low budget production, gained retrospective popularity, and the point of being considering a cult film. The plot revolves around two rangers inquiring about disappearances in the forest of New England.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all we have.
Okay. I mean, it sounds like Moose in New England.
Yeah.
Only I don't think they were going for comedy.
Oh, okay. We shall find out.
Winter Beast. Winter Beast seems to be just one word, though. All right.
That's I write what I get told to write.
Okay.
So we shall have to see.
Has been called a regional disaster piece, characterized as messy and scatterbrained in the best possible ways. Most retrospective reviews praise the film for its originality. And the film's obvious extreme lack of continuity is noted by all reviewers. All right.
I'm interested to know how it is cheaper to have claymation than to have live actors.
There is claymation.
Because it seems to me that unless you just have like one person who's just spending a whole lot of time just sitting there and they're like, well, we've waited 10 years. I might as well spend, the next 5 finishing it. I'll just move him another millimeter.
It sounds like Raz has all the information that we're grasping for, so we'll probably find out in a couple of weeks.
Yes.
Well, yeah, I will go find that and screen record it and add it as with the spin a little bit later.
Okay.
All right. We will have that up for you then in a couple of days, guys.
All right.
And shall we wrap things up?
And
Yeah.
all right. Where can we find you, Del?
You can find me right here on the Owlite Network. Pretty much every Sunday, most Mondays, and some Thursdays. If you want to look for my socials, go to this host body of mine has the name Carrie, Kari Sanders, and if you see a crow, you know that's me. And there you can get to my author page. You can get to this page. You can get to the Owl Night Light page. You can get to all my stuff there, Amazon page. And you can also find me over on the Dorkening Network on Tuesdays and Wednesdays for Splash Pages, the comic book club podcast, as well as the Midweek Geeks on Wednesdays.
All right. Friday, where can we find you?
I'm on Friday with the Blue Box. My page, my group is Friday Blues Organized Library. You can find me on Raz T Slasher's pages. You can find me on Carrie and Delphine's pages. You can find me on Faycore pages. And you can find me at the Corpse Garden Chronicles. Leave a message at any point, and I will either get back to you or I will get them to get back with you. Or we will start a random odd story in the background and then tell them about it later. Either way, please
All right.
read.
Yes. And James, what about you?
Well, what about Chaos? Where can we find Chaos at? We're just going to leave him around? Oh, I see.
Well, when he's not with me, he's at Colburn's. Where did it go? Can you see it? Yeah, he's at Colburn's, and then he comes home. That's about it.
All right. All right. You can find me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and various blogs. And I've enjoyed my time here tonight, and can't wait to see you guys all again in a couple of weeks. Buy merch.
Yes, please.
Merch.
Like, subscribe, do all the little button thingies. Follow us on Twitter and Twitch.
Ring the bell.
Twitch would be the big one, because then we can get, like, the more things we have liked on things, like, you don't have to subscribe, you don't have to pay for anything. If you just do the follow, well, subscribe on YouTube is free, but follow on Twitch and like on Facebook and do all those things, because the more we have, the more it opens up things for us to do to you so that we can give you better content. Because there are certain things that until you reach so many followers, you can't do them. But once you get that many, we can do more. And we want to give you more. We really want to give you more. But right now we can't. So
all right.
Good night, Jessica. And
Thank
good
you
night
for
to everybody else.
Seek help.
Take care.